Karradyne, they're kicking us out. We've been here an hour past closing. I am the one who's supposed to be freaking out over the arcade, not you.
But I've only played like half of the games. I still have so many more left. I can't leave until I'm done.
I mean, but what are you even playing? You've just been sitting there for the past 2 hours just playing Pac-Man and Donkey Kong.
And Galaga.
That's not all the games they have here. They have more than that.
But those are my favorites!
We have those games at home.
I played them on my Nintendo 64, and I'm living my childhood dreams right now.
We can go home and literally keep playing these games. So that
it's not the same!
Look, they're going to call the police if we don't get out of here.
That's dramatic.
So we really... I'm brown. It's not going to be good for me.
You'd think that my whiteness would counterbalance your brownness.
No, it won't. I'm still brown.
This is lame.
Can we go, please?
I guess.
All right, so just to make it up to you, a Bridgerton and 4 turtles enjoy cheesesteak fries. Hello, welcome to A Novel Console, your weekly podcast where we talk about books, games, food, and stuff that caught our attention during the week. My name is Chris, and with me is my beautiful co-host and wife, Karradyne.
Hello.
I am wiggling my arms around because I am in a good mood. I've been having a good day today. Watch this recording get fucked up because I said I'm having a good day and I won't be able to edit it and release it tomorrow.
Don't put that juju out there.
I mean, to start with, it's 8:21. I gotta get up at 4 in the morning and I still have to edit this thing. And we still have to record it.
You can do it.
I know I can't. But you know who can?
Our Patreon supporters!
Yeah, you got it! Our Patreon supporters, they subscribe to our Patreon for $2 a month. They get entered into our giveaways every month. I think that it's starting to get a little bit rough just finding these games that we're trying to give away. So I think we're just going to do digital currency from now on. I think it would be easier for, the giveaways.
Plus, we don't want to pass the Rona to anybody. Not that we have the Rona.
And we also don't want to go to the post office
and get the Rona.
And send this stuff out because,
it's like a cesspool.
Yeah. And people are being pretty stupid in Orlando.
Incredibly.
Yeah. But, you know what we did this week? And I think we're going to do this probably for a couple other restaurants, maybe sometime in the future.
We went back to a garbage place.
Yes, we went to Santino's Pizza. So we had my friend Saimara and her girlfriend Sarah, which she is actually the one who won Pikmin 3. So it's perfect time to give her the game instead of sending it through the mail, because especially she lives in Florida. And we wanted to go to this week's restaurant to eat. But we got there, we found out it wasn't really a sit-down restaurant. It was more of a bar/arcade. So we decided to go to Santino's. And this is the second time we've hung out and had pizza, which...
First time it was homemade pizza.
Yeah, I made the pizza. It was really good.
It was delicious.
Yeah. But we went to Santino's and we had different stuff. Karradyne had a pepperoni calzone.
I thought I was going to have spaghetti and meatballs, but the waitress apparently misinformed me. They only had baked ziti, and I didn't want ziti noodles. I wanted spaghetti noodles. I wanted to be able to twirl my damn spaghetti. Don't look at me like that. There is a difference. There is a big difference between being able to twirl your spaghetti and just eating some damn baked ziti.
That's not why I'm judging you. I'm judging you because what you got was just as amazing as anything else we've had there.
Yeah, but still, I went in thinking I was getting spaghetti and meatballs.
What if I just make you sauce sometime soon and you can make your own spaghetti and meatballs?
That's what I was thinking. But I gotta make the meatballs.
We can stuff the meatballs with blue cheese again.
Huh?
We can stuff the meatballs with blue cheese again.
Oh God, that was so good.
Yes, it was. And tell me about that calzone.
It was so creamy. I saw that it had ricotta, and I was like, ooh, let me ask for extra ricotta. I am so glad I didn't, because it was like spewing ricotta.
Mm-hmm. And pepperoni
and
mozzarella.
It was so good. It was so creamy, and just their sauce is delicious.
Your pizza sauce is really awesome.
And it had like the perfect amount of crunch and soft crust. It was...
I like how they put this butter garlic butter stuff and the little oregano on the top, that just like completes the whole thing. It just sells the entire thing. It's so fucking good.
It's very tasty. But don't get the large, because it's like a literal fucking large pizza folded in half.
Yeah.
It's massive. We ate the second half of it for dinner last night, split between the two of us.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were full afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And we still
You
left.
didn't even finish yours.
No, we left the crust.
Yeah.
That calzone, the best way that I can describe the stuffing would be calzone ice cream.
I mean, yeah.
Because it's so creamy and so rich and so delicious. It just like coats your entire mouth in this creamy, delicious wonderland. And it has this biting pepperoni, and then just the sauce just like coats the entire thing. Oh my god, it's so fucking good. It's so good. But then I had the cheesesteak pizza. I had a large cheesesteak pizza by myself.
You didn't eat all of it in one sitting.
No, I ate 4 slices, and then I had the next 4 slices for lunch the next day. It was so freaking good. Like it had onions, it had peppers, obviously the steak, provolone, and mushrooms. And I'm kind of ashamed to say this because it makes me feel like an old fuck. It maybe makes you feel old too. But I think I like mushrooms now.
I like them in specific contexts, and as long as I can't really feel the texture.
Okay, thank you, Luna. Luna, thank you. We appreciate that.
You've made a lovely contribution, Luna.
Exactly. Such a way with words too.
Caring dog. She really appreciated the pizza crust.
Yeah, she did. She did enjoy the pizza crust.
That's what she's telling us.
Yeah.
Via scratching the blanket.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she agreed with her ear flaps.
Oh, there she goes again.
Oh no. Done?
Pick your spot, Luna.
Oh god. Here we go. There was a pause there of about a minute, and it was just us looking at Luna and she looking at us back with her
puppy dog eyes
that have nothing inside her head.
She's so sweet, though.
Because the lights are on and nobody's home, but she's a great dog. She's a good podcast producer, too. Anyways, so yeah, cheesesteak pizza is really good. I usually don't get, like, specialty pizzas like this when I go to places because I'm more of a pepperoni pie type of guy. But this was pretty fucking awesome. I'm glad that I did. Both of these things, I think they fall in the same ranking as our previous Santino's visit.
It was amazing.
I feel like we've had amazing food these past few days, and I am very happy that we have.
We're about to be hardcore let down.
I feel like we've paid our dues already.
Yeah, we've had some really, really, really bad food, like, leading up to this, so...
Yeah. But yeah, these two things, cheesesteak pizza, pepperoni calzone, they both get a garbage rating. So go to Santino's in Oviedo, which actually makes me think of something. All this amazing food that we've had lately
is in Oviedo. We just need to stay in Oviedo.
Yeah, thank God we're so close. Yeah. Jesus.
We used to live very far from Oviedo.
Yeah.
Very far.
Yeah. Because, yeah, Oviedo has Teriyaki Madness, which we're thinking about doing in a couple of weeks. They also have Mission Barbecue, which has...
our wedding food.
Yeah, and really amazing sides and sauces.
Sauces.
Mm-hmm.
Oh! But you gotta sing the national anthem at noon every day.
That was weird. That did throw me off.
But we'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, whenever
in a later episode.
Yeah. And Santino's, and apparently for next week's episode's place that we're gonna go, apparently that place is really good. I've been reading the reviews all day because I want something specific from there, and everybody says that it's amazing. So, and this week's restaurant is from Oviedo too, so it's more Orlando than Oviedo, but legally
the
it's
address
Oviedo.
is Oviedo.
Like, there's a street light with the sign that says "Welcome to Oviedo" right before the entrance to the place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Oviedo is Orlando. Come on.
Yeah.
The whole fucking area is Orlando somehow. I feel like Lakeland even tries to butt in and be Orlando too, but we will never let Lakeland trash join. No.
Yeah. What else have we done recently?
We went to Disney World!
We did, that's right. I rode. I rode.
We rode it, but you rode for the first time.
Flight of the Resistance?
Rise of the Resistance.
Flight of the Slinky Dog?
We did not stay long enough to do Flight of the Slinky Dog.
Flight of the Tower of Terror?
You're trying me.
Flight of the Aerosmith?
Stop.
I find that so funny. She hates it that I call everything Flight of, though, because of Flight of Passage. Flight of the Frozen?
I give up.
So, Rise of the Resistance was really fucking cool.
I told him it was really fucking cool, but I don't know that he like puts much weight in what I say is cool.
I don't put weight
because
on what you say.
Because I think dorky things are cool.
No, it's not because of that. I don't put weight on what you think you say is cool because you really like Disney stuff. And, okay, Disney has some really cool fucking stuff like Animal Kingdom. I love Animal Kingdom. But then you say it has this really cool stuff, and that really cool stuff is a Three Amigos ride.
It's a three... I don't know how to say that word. You're going to have to say it.
It's Chevy Chase.
Caballeros. What?
Caballero?
Yeah, those three things.
Yeah, they call themselves the Caballeros. It's like, what the fuck, dude? That's not even a word. But Rise was awesome. Seeing all those people, all those costumes, all the attention to detail and the sets and the animatronics and everything. It was awesome. And that one drop.
That fleet of stormtroopers.
Yes, waiting for you to get out of the ship, and then you actually have 3 stormtroopers, people dressed as the troopers, just standing there.
Patrolling, basically.
Mm-hmm. And the part with the AT-ATs, that was awesome. So cool. But as much as I liked it, I think I like Falcon better.
Nope.
You know why I like Falcon better?
Because it's like playing a video game.
No, because I actually got to fly the Millennium Falcon and take us into hyperspace.
And steal the... What
Coaxium.
is it? Coaxium.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a big thing in the in the Solo movie? Or was it something else?
I think it might have been.
Coaxium.
Yeah, because they were taking it off the train, and then
that creepy man with
Woody Harrelson,
Daenerys.
Jorah.
No, Jorah. No, the creepy Coaxium dude, head honcho, who like.
Fucking Vision.
Yes.
Paul Bethany.
I don't know.
I know his last name is Bethany. I don't
Vision and Daenerys making a Coaxium baby.
Ugh.
Anyway.
That was an actual good movie.
It was a good movie.
I don't know why people hate it so much.
We only watched it the one time. We should have watched it in our rewatch.
Yeah, but I feel like we watched it so recently that it was still fresh.
But I feel like if we rewatched it now, I would understand it more. Now that I've seen everything. Maybe. I don't know.
Yes and no. I mean, it's a really good movie. It's a really good Star Wars story. It's just, I don't know. It kind of like doesn't follow the themes of the mainline entries, unlike Rogue One, which is, without Rogue One, there's no episode 4.
Right, it doesn't explain a story arc.
Yeah, it's just kind of a story in the universe, which...
That's what Mando is.
I'll keep them. I'll keep watching them if they keep bringing them in, so...
I can't wait for more Mando.
I don't think Baby Yoda's going to be back anytime soon.
Oh, shut up. I took my Grogu into the park with us, and he did a photo shoot of me with Grogu in my Mando shirt.
Yeah, so go check that out at A Novel Kingdom.
Yeah.
$5.
Yeah.
How about we just go into book talk?
Okay.
All right, so this is book talk.
Dearest reader, this week's book is The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. That was my terrible terrible Julie Andrews impersonation. I am ashamed of myself.
That was actually pretty phenomenal. I really like that.
I didn't sound anything like her.
I don't care, but you sounded regal and Victorian.
Thanks. I'm sorry, but I take your word with a grain of salt on this one. Okay, anyway.
We do make fun of everything, so maybe I'm making fun of you too.
Oh, man.
Let's go into Bridgerton. Tell me more about it.
The Duke and I, first book in the massive Bridgerton series. It was first published on January 5th, 2000. But it appears to have been published most recently on June 27, 2006 by Avon Books. I could have all of this wrong. I get confused when books are like republished at a later I don't know. It's confusing. It was originally published back in 2000.
So 2006 is the most recent republication?
From what I could find.
So what were those books that we saw at Books A Million with the
That
cover?
was just a redone cover with the show cover.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Aaron, we got to get real. Your tab is so high at this point, I don't think you will ever be able to pay us. You are indebted. You're in debtor's prison. What?
Might as well just pay a subscription fee.
Right?
Let's say $50 a month and we'll call it even.
There you go.
For 2 years.
Okay, so basically, my book's to Bestie, Reading in Fairyland, as we all know. She's basically a third member of our podcast at this point.
I feel like at some point we should just bring her in.
Right!
And do an episode with her.
I'm not really even sure, like, why I keep referring to her as my book's to Bestie when she, like, you and Marla are literally the only people I talk to more than I talk to her.
I think we're going to have to start charging Marla, too.
Anyway, I digressed. But I promise that running up Erin's tab once again is relevant, as she told me these books are not all that wonderful, and specifically told me which ones are worth reading. This one was not one of the ones she told me was worth reading. I kind of assumed she only said that because of, like, watching the show, so, like, not needing, you know, a repeat. No, there was definitely more to it than just that, unfortunately. Shonda Rhimes, you are the queen of fucking everything. I really have no idea how this woman took this book and made this show out of it. The book is a fucking snooze fest. If I'd read this book prior to watching the show, I don't know that you could have convinced me it was worth watching. But if I'd read this book before I started devouring so much historical romance like fucking candy, I might have given it a higher rating and a less harsh critique. Might have.
Might. Huh, interesting. All right, tell me more.
So as it stands, I already watched the show, and I've been reading way too much Karradyne Burn. So Julia Quinn, you just step to the side and let the women who know what the fuck the people want do their thing. Julia Quinn is the author of the Bridgerton series.
Okay. So just whore out your characters to somebody more talented.
Exactly. So I'm being kind of mean. It's not a bad book per se, but unfortunately, I have too many greater things to compare it to, and comparison really is the thief of all joy.
Okay, so you're not saying it's bad. You're just saying
it's nowhere near as good as what they made it. And because I saw the better first.
But you're just saying, is it a slow burn, or is it just boring? Or is it just...
Both. Both.
That doesn't sound fun.
So The Duke and I is nothing but the story of Daphne Bridgerton and Simon Bassett, the Duke of Hastings. There's very little interaction from the other Bridgertons. You see some Antony, but that's about it. Like
some Anthony?
And some Antony. Some Antony. Some a little bit of Antony.
Okay.
Some Antony. That's the name.
That's a very androgynous name, Sam Anthony.
But, like, for instance, one of my favorite Bridgertons is Eloise. I honestly can't tell you a fucking thing about her from reading this book. Not a damn thing. And that makes me really sad.
Is she the one that the actor's like 30 years old and she looks and plays like a 16-year-old in the show?
I don't know anything about these people in their real lives. She is playing like a, I guess like 14, 15-year-old maybe.
With black hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Is she
one.
that much older? Really?
Yeah, she is.
Oh,
she
that
is,
weirds me out!
She's that much older. But don't you remember in Hannah Montana, Hannah's brother was like 36?
Older than us. Yeah.
He was like 36 and playing a 16-year-old.
And Harry Potter, Moaning Myrtle, she was like in her 40s.
Yeah.
She is a much older woman, but that voice, though.
That's always weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's always so weird.
But at least she was a ghost, so it was really easy to make her CGI'd the fuck out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't see like really any of the other Bridgertons. I was really bummed out by not really even getting a lot of Lady Bridgerton interaction. That's the mom. The other people in the ton, forget it. None of the spicy action. It is so boring. I seriously considered DNFing it at 4 hours left in the audiobook. One, because it was such a letdown, and I was dreading listening to it anymore. And two, Aaron was, like, encouraging me to DNF it. Which doesn't help. If you tell me I should do it, then I'm like, oh, this justifies me doing it. Goodbye. But I powered through those last 4 hours this morning.
And got it done.
I did.
You are a masochist sometimes.
I am. And the narrator, like, made Daphne sound like a mousy little idiot. And she's anything but mousy. She's very fierce. And I don't know.
She just looks so plain to me in the show.
I love her. I love Daphne and Simon. But, like, I quickly realized that they did not make the show as much as I thought they did. Like, they had so many wonderful supporting characters carrying them. And so many side stories that I had to know what happened next. I had to know what happened next for all of these people. It's honestly one of the best shows I have ever seen in my entire life. And that soundtrack, even if you have no intention of watching the show, it doesn't interest you at all, I must implore you to go listen to that soundtrack right now.
Yeah, you haven't stopped listening to it since you saw that damn show.
It drives him nuts.
Yeah, because I'm just sitting there trying to watch Guy Fieri shovel down a burger down his throat, and she is listening to Thank You Next in the bathroom or Bad Guy and violins. Which, when it gets to the part with the breakdown at the end, it just sounds like all the violinists had a stroke at the same time.
Yeah, it's the only way you can get me to listen to Billie Eilish. I hate her. I mean, I don't hate her as a person. I hate her music. Gag me.
I actually like that song, which is weird because I hate pop music.
He made me dance to that song one night on Just Dance. I anger danced to it. I was so mad.
At least you didn't anger poop to it like Luna does.
Luna.
Don't wake up.
She's asleep.
Don't wake up. She's going to make more noise again. We're going to have to wait for her to be done because she doesn't understand human.
So at the end of the day, unfortunately, I cannot separate this book from the excellence that is the show. And I must give it 2.5 stars.
Holy shit. What? I think that's the lowest scoring anything we've given out. Well, apart from garbage.
Oh, yeah, but... Twisted Root was like a 0 on a 10-point scale.
But book-wise, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I was so disappointed.
Okay, so I have a question about the book. Do you think it suffers the way that it does because is it her first book or not?
I don't think so. I feel like this woman has written a billion books. A lot of historical romance authors have written like as many books as there are words in the English language.
It's interesting. Yeah, because I was just going to kind of attribute it to it being her first book or her first work of art that gets published, because usually those are pretty fucking garbage.
Yeah, I don't think it was. It's just It's just really dull in comparison to the rest of the genre.
A comparison of that would be go listen to our first episode and then come back and listen to this one. You're going to see that first episode fucking sucked.
Yeah.
This one, it still sucks, but it sounds better, I think. So anything else you want to say about the book before we go into games and stuff?
I don't recommend it at all. If you do, like, insist on reading it, don't do what I did and watch the show first. If you already watched the show, fuck it, don't do it. But if you haven't watched the show yet and you want to, then you'll be so impressed by the show afterwards.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into games and stuff. So for this week's game, we have a very important game. I think I actually played this game for the first time after I moved to Florida. So
Really?
In my late 20s. Yeah, I did not grow up playing this game at all. Thing is, it's Ninja Turtles. I think my mom says that I was obsessed with them when I was a kid. I don't remember ever being obsessed. I remember not liking them for some reason. I don't think it was my cup of tea. But I am glad that I waited this long to play this game because I've managed to appreciate a bunch of stuff that I wouldn't have when I was a kid. Let's just get into a little bit of some stuff that I want to say about it before we start, because I think some of these things are pretty funny and clever. Arcade machines are most of the time dedicated to one particular game, so it has all that processing power dedicated to one specific file, which is why games look better in the arcade than in console, because a console, you have your system and then you put in the game which has the file to play, and it doesn't have as much power.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, so your Pac-Man on the arcade looks way better than on home. Now it looks better on home than in the arcade, but before. Tekken, Mortal Kombat, the same thing.
Mortal Kombat!
Yes. And this game is what I originally wanted to play for the first episode of the podcast, because I wanted to play this game with you, have it be something that you and I experience together, and we can both talk about it, because I like it when we share things like that. Which
I do too.
Next week's episode is going to be great because it's something that I love and I think you find entertaining.
I don't remember.
But it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I know our listeners are going to like it because we have a lot of listeners that are fans of what we're going to talk about.
Woo!
So the next thing, which is where it gets clever and kind of funny, is emulation loss. I'm not 100% sure if I've told you about emulation loss before.
That was going to be my next question. What's that?
So emulation is when you run something on a computer or a system and you are basically running a digital console of something so that you can run something on it. So in this case, what we're doing is we're running a ROM of Turtles on my Super Nintendo Classic because...
We're breaking the law?
Technically, no. So here's where it gets weird. Here's where it gets very weird. And you're going to find this, I think you're going to find this fun. Because every time I tell you video game trivia like this, you actually like it. So the way that it works in the States, in the United States, is that you can emulate things as long as you have a copy of the original. So...
Okay.
So I would have to have a legal physical copy of Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo so that I can rip the game out of it and put it in a digital file so that I can play it on the Super Nintendo Classic. So for all intents and purposes, I do own that cartridge.
This is confusing.
So it's basically you can only pirate the game that you own. As long as you own that game, you will not go to jail.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do have the game, I guess. So let's get started.
You just advertised it. If not,
Hey, if the FBI comes here, I'll pull out a cartridge. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Times is a 4-player side-scrolling arcade beat-em-up that was originally released March 1991 and later ported to the Super Nintendo on November 19th, 1992 by Konami.
I was a year and a week old.
We played the Super Nintendo version of this game. I don't know if we played the arcade version when we went to Player 1.
I don't remember.
Anyways, you take control of the titular Ninja Turtles, and each has different weapon to use in your fight against the Foot Clan. The story's pretty minimal, with it just being the Turtles taking down Shredder and getting the Statue of Liberty back because they get stolen.
They're called the Foot Clan.
Yes, that's why there were foot all over the Technodrome.
Why are they the Foot Clan?
I have no idea.
That's fucking weird, but it does explain the feet on the wall. That was weird.
The feet fetish art on the walls.
But like, you would think that something else would indicate that they're the Foot Clan. Like, their outfits definitely didn't indicate that.
Mm-mm.
Nothing. No. They didn't fight with their feet. Nothing.
You would think being called the Foot Clan, they would do a lot more kicking.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We did more kicking than they did.
You know, we kicked their asses all over the place. The graphics in the game are very colorful. The green turtles pop and make them distinct enough so that you never lose your character, especially during the crazy fights when the screen is swarmed with different colored foot soldiers. I am having a tough time. I've also been awake since 3 a.m. The characters and the backgrounds all look like watered-down versions of the arcade game, but it still looks surprisingly great. Usually arcade ports to the Super Nintendo don't look as great as the other consoles, but this one surprisingly looks pretty on par. I do wish that the Turtles did have a black outline around them to, you know, kind of distinct everything, because sometimes they do kind of look like a little green blob with different colors on them, but still looks pretty fucking great. The animation is pretty standard. They aren't as fluid as the arcade versions, but they do get the job done well. The Turtles and the enemies move a bit stiff, but the gameplay is so fast that you get used to it and you eventually stop noticing how stiff they are. And you notice that the animations for the attacks had like 4 or 5 frames per attack. It still plays well enough and it's still fun. The sound design in the game is my second favorite thing about the whole game. We'll get to my first favorite thing later. The music is very fast and fun, which works perfectly with the action on the screen. It keeps you pumped and ready to kick some foot soldier ass, but the music, while it's very freaking awesome, the little digitized voice clips of the Turtles talking is my favorite part of the audio. Whenever you die, you hear the Turtles you're controlling yell, shell shock.
It's so silly.
It's so funny.
What is it that it says at the beginning when you start the game?
Cowabunga!
It's so... Mm-mm.
What was the other one? Manhattan, 3 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
It was Technodrome. And what my favorite one is when you're on the surfboards and you hit the little spike balls in the water. You're like, oh, my foot.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that. I was getting sick during that part.
And they hold their feet and their eyes bug out and they just start jumping in place. It's so funny. One thing I don't like that much, but it still just brings to the charm of the game, is the generic punches and kicks, how they sound, you know, just whack, 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 and that's pretty much the only noise you'll hear when you're hitting enemies. But it's still pretty decent, but everything else just makes up for it, especially shell shocked. Every time Karradyne or I died, I just said it and she was getting so annoyed.
It was so frustrating.
The gameplay is pretty damn fun. This is my favorite part of the game. Like I said, the game is a beat 'em up, which to me feels different from many before it, and it stands in a holy trinity of early 90s glory day beat 'em ups, along with the X-Men arcade game, which is real fucking awesome, and the Simpsons arcade game, which is hard but really cool because Marge fights using a vacuum cleaner.
What?
I think Lisa uses a jump rope and Bart uses a skateboard. Homer just punches people. It's a really good game. Both of those games were actually released by Konami, which is the same people that released this one. So it's like, I think X-Men was in 92. And both Simpsons and Turtles in Time were in 91 originally, and then 92. So you and a friend can choose one of the 4 turtles to the start of the game. Each one controls exactly the same, but with obvious different weapons, which affect the reach and the damage. Raphael has the shortest range of the turtles, but he hits the hardest with his size, which that's the one Karradyne used for some reason. I don't know why she would go with him, but
I liked him.
yeah, especially since you killed that one motherfucker by your own.
I did. I was so proud. By my own.
By yourself.
I was so proud of myself.
My favorite is Mikey because he has the nunchaku. And those are really cool and fun to use, especially if you know how to use them. So being able to use them in a video game is always fun. Donatello has a bow staff. He has the most reach, but does the least amount of damage. He has about 5 attacks to take down one enemy, while Raphael and Michelangelo and Leonardo have 3. But it's fine because you keep a distance from the enemies. And last off is Leonardo. He's the most balanced one of them all. He uses swords, which do a good amount of damage and have a good comfortable reach. So you have, a good balance. You don't have to sacrifice anything for the gameplay. The combat is very simple. You have a 3 attack system and a few grapples. The simplicity is what makes this game so fun. It is easy to understand and perform, so it makes this a very non-gamer friendly game. Karradyne picked up the game so quickly that she took out the second boss by herself.
Holla!
And because of that, the gameplay is my favorite part of the game because I keep telling Karradyne, let's play this game. It's going to be fun. You're going to enjoy it. And she did that all by herself. While I was keeping the Foot Clan away from her, she took down the boss.
There was that one part, though, that I couldn't handle.
Oh, the surfboard? I don't like that part.
I was going to be sick.
That's the only part that I don't like about the game. So all the attacks have weight behind them. The grapples are the most fun thing in the game. You have one specifically where you throw enemies towards the screen.
That one's fun.
And guess what?
That made me giggle.
There's one boss fight against Shredder. I think it's the first one where you grab the enemy and you have to throw it at him, at the screen to damage him. So it does serve a purpose other than seeing the foot soldier just like fly out the screen. And the other grapple is like a side floor slam, like in the old Tom and Jerry cartoons. Mm-hmm. You just grab them and smack them side to side.
And that's something it just does on its own. It's not something you make happen, right?
No, it you can control it. It's button inputs. So if you're holding side and you hit the attack button at the same time, it does it automatically. I noticed that the one to throw to just a screen, you have to hold down and the attack button at the same time, and it flips them.
I was doing that on accident.
Yeah, you were kicking ass all over the fucking place, and it didn't happen like in Metal Slug where I told you you're doing so good and you immediately died.
Yeah, I kept it up for the most, except for that one time where the wrecking ball kept getting me. I couldn't get away from it.
That's true. And this time when we restarted it again, you didn't get hit by it. I got hit by it like twice, and you just stayed away from it. See?
Mm-hmm. I stayed away from the laser eyes, too.
Yeah, you were doing really good.
Thanks.
There are a few health items in the game in the shape of pizza boxes, which obviously Ninja Turtles, which makes me think we did talk about pizza at the beginning of the game, episode. Oh my god, we got it.
You know what that makes me think of?
What?
It makes me think of that one episode of My Strange Addiction. There was this woman who was addicted to the Ninja Turtles, and she wanted to be them. All she ate was like pizza and mayonnaise. Is there something with them and mayonnaise?
I have no idea. That's the first I've heard of that.
We're going to have to look this up. But yeah, she was obsessed with the Ninja Turtles. She wanted to be them, and the doctors were just like, you're going to die. I'm going to look this up.
Cowabunga! All right. So, pizza boxes, they give you health. And there's this one bomb picture pizza box, which gives you a quick boost of attack, which is great for taking out enemies. The first time that I saw this, I hadn't played this game in a while. I saw the pizza box with the bomb on it. And I said, Karradyne, don't touch that. It's poison. And she touched it immediately. And then I was like, Karradyne, hit all of them. You can kill all of them. So Karradyne was freaking out because of that. The problems with the game, I only have one tiny complaint. The game is too easy Most enemies die in a 3-hit combo or a screen fling, which is cool. It makes you feel like a badass, but it's still a little bit too easy. Did you find the mayonnaise thing? Uh-oh. So we just spent 5 minutes. This is a break that we didn't announce, but we just spent 5 minutes looking at a video of that girl. And Karradyne found her Twitter. It is what's Twitter?
Ivy Angelo.
And what is her website?
Cowabungacorner.com.
So you know what we're gonna do? Just save those links, send them to me or something, and we'll post them tomorrow on our socials so people can see how turtle obsessed some people can be. Jesus Christ, she is. Oh, that is 90s and alt rock and turtles everywhere. Jesus Christ.
What the shell?
What?
What the shell?
Okay. That's enough with Ivy. Let's go into the praises.
It's a deep dark hole.
Throw your phone away. No phones allowed on a novel console, except for when you're listening to a novel console. Then please use your phone. Praises for the game. The game is an arcade classic. I love that this game isn't hard and cheap just so that it can take your coins away. The Simpsons game is, and that's pretty annoying because you just got to keep popping coins in because you just keep dying. But this one, it's not like that. And I really, really like that. It's a decent and fun challenge that makes this a perfect short sit-through with a friend because it's long enough to be entertaining but short enough so that it's not a commitment. I love how amazing this game runs on the Super Nintendo and how pretty it is, especially when compared to other arcade ports in the system. Overall, this is a classic game, which if you're a collector or fan of beat-em-ups, it should be in your collection. It's the perfect length game to sit down and play with my wife, and I'm very happy that we finally did. This game gets 5 stars.
It was fun.
What was your favorite part of it?
I know this sounds silly, but I really appreciated being able to tell who the hell my character was.
Yeah, because you're having that trouble in Metal Slug.
Yeah, I mean, I could figure it out, but it took me a second. Whereas this, I feel like their colors differentiated them more. Like I
would say the colors, but I would say more also their stance, the way that they're
and their
standing.
weapons were different too.
Yeah, because if you look at their waist, they all have the same colored waist wrap, but their bandanas and the way that they're standing is all different. So, yeah, I can see that. That's a very good point.
I wonder if Michelle Ivy takes that into account when she's in her different turtle outfits and has a different stance for each one of them to make sure that they are always unique.
Maybe she does. Hey, maybe she's beaten this game more times than we've taken a breath.
Probably.
In this life. So, that's it for games and stuff. You know what time it is?
It's time for Give Me the Garbage.
All right, that is Give Me the Garbage.
This week's restaurant is Arcade Monsters, a arcade in Oviedo, Florida. I said the wrong name the first time we started recording this. Oops.
I looked at it, I was like, no. She's like, what do you mean no?
I blended two places together.
Yeah,
And the other one's not even a restaurant.
It's on iDrive and it's a comic book store. It's called
Gods and Monsters. This is Arcade Monsters. Oh my god, that means I told all my coworkers wrong. I can't. I feel so hard. Oh god.
They're gonna be, during the weekend, they're gonna be trying to find this place so they can go drink and stuff on iDrive. They're like, yeah, so we heard you have a really good cheesesteak. And they're like,
what the fuck?
Where?
Oh, okay. Whew. So, we finally made it to the arcade, but not really. We attempted to go have dinner at Arcade Monsters with two of our friends, Sarah and Saimara.
Which we talked about in the beginning of the episode.
But the gods were out to get us. And we discovered that it doesn't really have a designated restaurant area.
No, there's an area for you to sit down and eat, but it's more of it looks
Like just to chill while you're in the middle of your arcade stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, it's more like you can just sit down and eat real quick and then hop back to whatever you were doing. It's not somewhere you can just go have a meal. That ultimately led to us being able to give you the Santino's update because we had to find somewhere else to go.
Yeah, and we weren't really feeling like experimenting because there's another place in Oviedo that we want to try. Sorry, I burped. And we just ended up at Santino's, which it's fine. We love Santino's. We'll never say no to Santino's. So.
And everybody loves pizza, so.
Yeah, everybody does love pizza.
So basically.
Cowabunga!
Oh, God.
Oh,
Michelle Ivy loves pizza. Bacon pizza. Oh, God, I can't even think about it anymore.
A BLT pizza, and she puts...
No.
God.
I'm going to be sick. Please.
Okay.
No. Okay. So Chris decided to go pick us up some to-go lunch from...
I was worried. I was very worried about picking up lunch from there.
Why were you worried?
So they open at 11 a.m. and they close at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, I'm probably going to be the first person in the entire day ordering fruit from there. And I don't know if to go would be the best choice because, it's not really a restaurant itself. So I was thinking this could be really bad, like Twisted Root, where they give you your food in that plastic container, which they completely sealed, and all it does is sweat up your food and make it hard and soft at the same time.
All it does.
All it does. I am sticking by it. I don't care.
Huh, well, cowabunga! This was some really fucking good food.
You're really taking this turtle stuff.
I can't stop thinking about it. And her singing that song and talking about paying $2,000 for one of those turtle heads.
Well, one of those turtle heads got to be worth a lot of money right now.
Because they're from the fucking movies, right?
Yeah, from the third movie is what she said. But
crazy.
There's
Those
a lot
teeth.
of those heads that have just disintegrated over the years. So if she's managed to keep them pristine, they got to be worth some money.
That's great.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll be able to pay off her loans that way. Okay, anyway, so he ordered us sandwiches, but they're not really sandwiches. They're more like just slabs of bread, meat, and cheese.
They're
massive.
They are ginormous.
They're so much more than a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the cheesesteak sandwich.
You know what I love about that?
What?
Is that they're so huge that I got full with the first
On half a sandwich.
Yeah.
We had the second half for dinner.
And it was only $12 per sandwich.
Yeah, it's not bad.
What?
You pay that much at Firehouse and you eat all of it one sitting.
Yeah, and you don't even get the largest sandwich they have.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, medium.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I got the cheesesteak, and oh my god, I thought Chris's cheesesteak was the best I would ever have. And honey, yours is so, so good. Oh, but this one beat you.
No, I know. I know when I'm beat.
If you had a proper kitchen and like grill and everything.
If I had a flat top,
I feel like you could make it that. But
if I had a flat top, I could do it. But we don't have a flat top. Anyways, my metric for grading cheesesteaks was Cheesesteak Factory back in Metro West. They closed a few years ago, unfortunately.
It was a hole in the wall.
Yeah, it was this Asian kid with his mom, and my God, that lady could fucking cook, and that kid was the best server ever. And that's my grading, because these people were so good that they would have people on road trips coming through Orlando to go to the theme parks or going back to Philly. They would stop at Cheesesteak Factory and buy 6 or 7 subs just to take on the road up there.
I didn't know that.
That's insane. I mean, that's how you know it's good. If people from Philly buy a bunch just so they can eat on their way home.
Mm-hmm. So the one thing that I would change about this
Tell me what's in the sandwich.
Okay. It's meat, cheese, onions, mayonnaise? Was there mayonnaise?
Yeah, there was mayonnaise.
But geez, it's like it was so perfectly hot and gooey, but also not soggy. It was very, very flavorful. I mean, the meat was like seasoned to perfection. The cheese
It
was
tasted
so
like meat.
fresh.
It tasted like steak. It didn't taste like meat.
Right.
That's,
Yeah.
That's a huge part of it.
Yeah. The only thing I would change is that I would just add some red pepper flakes to it.
You just want the spice.
That's how Chris makes it, and I like my kick. And it really does make a big difference. Just a little bit goes a long way. It was
it was still phenomenal.
It was amazing.
And the cilantro garlic sauce on the side, I for some reason, I don't know why I kept thinking it was horseradish mayonnaise. So I kept looking for horseradish every time I dipped it in, and it didn't click until after we ate. And I called them. I was like, "Hey, what's that sauce you guys gave me?"
You called them and asked them? Oh my god!
Yes, I called them, and he said, "Oh, it's cilantro garlic." I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense."
I am just like shocked that you actually called them to see what the sauce was.
I was baffled. I have no idea what it was because I kept tasting it and tasting it and tasting it. I couldn't hit it because I just kept looking for mayonnaise and horseradish.
No. I told you that was wrong.
Yeah, you did. I just, man, you said it wasn't pungent enough, but it did have a little bit of punch from the garlic. But
when I tasted it by itself, I thought it tasted like it had a hint of apple.
It was kind of sweet.
It was weird. But it tasted good with the sandwich.
Yeah,
don't eat it by itself. It's a little bit strange.
And it worked really well with both sandwiches, and it worked really well with the fries.
The cheesesteak fries.
I was very surprised by those fries. They were crunchy. They were packed with meat, cheese, and onions. And I really liked the shape of the fries because they were like...
little wedge home fries. Sort of.
But they looked more like somebody had taken a knife to a potato and just gone crazy.
Just hacked it up.
But somehow all of these fries looked about exactly the same size and consistency, so they were all pretty even.
And I was most impressed by the fact that like they weren't soggy. They still had some crunch. I mean, obviously they weren't super crunchy because they did have all this stuff on top of them, but they weren't soggy.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that after we get through the Cuban sandwich and the pastry.
Holla!
So the Cuban sandwich, finally, I found the perfect Cuban sandwich. I've been looking for a perfect Cuban sandwich since I saw Guy Fieri eating one on Triple D. He said it was amazing and described it in a way that made me realize that I've never really had a great Cuban sandwich, just okay ones. Which just made me think, this is not a good sandwich idea. But, holy shit. This Cuban is pure perfection. Every bite of the sandwich is the perfect bite. Let's start it off. The Cuban is a ham sandwich with pernil, which is either pork leg or shoulder marinated and slow cooked in the oven for a bunch of hours. It has Swiss cheese, mustard, and pickles. Everything in the sandwich melts and plays off of each other perfectly. Most Cubans are ham heavy, so it just tastes like a ham sandwich with extras, or it has really dry pernil, or in most cases, which we recently talked about, doesn't have enough mustard. But this one has the perfect ratio of ham to pernil, which I would say would be about 1/3 ham, 2/3 pernil, a ton of melted Swiss cheese, nice sized pickles, and enough mustard to make me happy.
You either got mustard or pickle in every single bite.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say, I know a lot of people don't like mustard, but don't be afraid of it. If the recipe or whatever you're making says it has this amount of mustard, put that amount of mustard in it, because that is an important part of the chef's idea. It either adds moisture or adds flavor or adds a different refreshing taste to the rest of the sandwich. Then it belongs there, except on burgers. Mustard does not belong on cheeseburgers.
No.
That is wrong.
No.
But yeah, so I found the perfect Cuban. I knew for a fact that if I could find the perfect Cuban, I could get you to eat it.
And I did.
That's always my goal. I need to find a perfect whatever so that Karradyne will eat it and she will like it.
It did not taste like ham at all. So these sandwiches were big enough.
They were massive.
That we ate one half at lunch, and then we popped them in the oven and swapped the other halves for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome.
Like after I ate, I was obviously doing Uber, and the sandwich was kicking my ass. Like I was drowsy. I felt like my stomach had expanded, and every time I would breathe, I could feel like inflated. I was like, oh, I ate too much.
No, I was the opposite. I was kind of energized, but so here's a funny story. He brought this food to my job, and we sat in his car and ate it because he can't come in and eat with me. And we had everything like laid out on the dash of the car. But I was stupid and put my mask on the dash with all of the food. Y'all, I smelled nothing but cheesesteak for the rest of the day today. It was awful. It's like, why did I do this to myself?
Did you finish eating the apple pastry?
I did. It was so tasty.
So they gave me an apple pastry. I don't know if it was a leftover or, first time coming in, and they just, want to give me something nice.
Oh, thank you.
It was awesome. I would love to have that apple pastry with ice cream.
I wish it had been hot, but it was still very, very good.
It was fresh apples inside a semi-sweet puff pastry. I don't think it had any sugar in it. I think it was just the egg beating that they put on it so it doesn't burn.
It was like a quesito, but without cheese.
If they do that thing and they put quesito cheese inside of it, holy shit! Or just put the apple and then cheese.
The apple is like the guava.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And those apples were actually really good.
Yeah, they were very fresh.
Yeah, that was a
tasty.
really good pastry. It was tiny, kind of the size of a Hucky Puck. So I didn't think it was gonna be that stuff, but it had a lot.
Mm-hmm. And little chunks. It was nice.
So let's go into some not really criticisms, but things we liked. There's one criticism, but it's not really a big one. It's when we went to eat there.
Oh yeah.
We couldn't sit down because it wasn't a sit down. I think that if they do set up an area eventually to have people like actually sit down, people are definitely going to come here just for the food.
You could make fucking bank if you had a legit dedicated restaurant seating area. Make bank.
Although you can't eat at the bar, and the bar is pretty cool because the bar has a bunch of little Super Nintendo minis, Sega minis, NES minis, with their own TV, so you can sit there and play, which is really fucking cool. I really like that. But just a designated area for people that don't want to sit at the bar or just want to sit somewhere nice and just eat, because this food is bistro quality. This is the best Cuban sandwich I've ever eaten. This is the best cheesesteak I've ever eaten. And I eat a lot of fucking cheesesteaks because it is my favorite sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
And it's $12 per sandwich for the large one, and you have enough to get full. I mean, next time we go, we can split one. And it has truck stop sized portions.
They're massive.
And prices. So it is amazing. What I was really worried about was the to-go aspect of it, but they used the perfect device for transportation. It is a cardboard box with a wax lining inside. It doesn't close perfectly, so the steam can come out. It won't get cold. It won't get soggy and shitty. I drove a good 15 minutes from Arcade Monsters to your job, and the food was perfect.
It really was. I was afraid we were going to have another Twisted Root experience.
Me too. We ate at your job. I packed up everything. I came over to the apartment to drop it off. When I picked it up from the seat, it was still hot.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's perfect. This place is awesome. And I went inside to look while I was waiting for the food. I was looking at the games. And I didn't see all of the games. But what I did see was a bunch of awesome stuff. They had the Fix-It Felix game from Wreck-It Ralph.
I need to play that.
They have the Turtles in Time. They have a giant Dance Dance Revolution machine. They have a whole bunch of really cool fucking stuff in there. And I kept looking at the price for the entry. It's $20 to get in, which I thought it was very steep.
Was that like unlimited game access though?
Yes, but here's the kicker. They have over 200 games. So for $20, you're paying what, 10 cents per game?
Yeah, but you're not gonna get to all 200 games
No,
either.
but you still have that option.
Yeah.
I mean,
Are you like limited in terms of how long you can be there?
no.
Yeah.
No. You just pay the $20. You just go in
So if
until
you
you're
get there at
sick
the
of it.
beginning of the day and you want to stay till 2 a.m.,
Yes.
are you allowed to do that?
I'm guessing yes.
Hmm.
I'm guessing they're not going to kick you out as long as you're consuming something, which honestly, I'm pretty sure at some point you're going to get thirsty or something, or hungry. So
I can drink water. I can hold out.
don't be cheap. But yeah, this place is really cool. We really have to go to play the games because everything that I saw, and it's just what I saw for the retro games, they have everything. They had the X-Men arcade game, which we should play because I think you would like. And
They have Galaga?
They do.
Oh,
They have Donkey Kong next to Fix It Felix.
Felix.
They have arcade Contra. They have so much cool stuff.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a game before the movie?
No.
No, I
No,
didn't
no,
think so.
No, it was. I don't know if this is what they did because I really don't care for Disney trivia, but I think what it was a spoof on Mario Bros. Because the original Mario, well, not Mario Bros, Donkey Kong. In the original Donkey Kong, you control Mario. You gotta save the lady because it's not a princess from Donkey Kong. So I think it's a spoof of that. Except Ralph is destroying the building and you're just fixing it.
And there are other like real video games in the first movie, right?
And in the second, yeah.
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 Well, yeah, because the second one's all the internet, but the first one, that doesn't he like go to therapy for villains or something, and all
Yeah.
the villains are there?
And Zangief is there. He
Isn't
says,
like Ganondorf there?
No,
No?
it's Satan. For some reason. My favorite Zangief, he's like, just because you're a bad guy
Oh, yeah.
doesn't mean you're bad guy.
Those are good movies.
I don't think Zangief is a bad guy in Street Fighter either. So, but then in the second one, Sonic's in there, and Sonic was a hologram in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. Cubert's in the movie too. So.
Cute movies.
So Arcade Monsters. This is without a doubt the best garbage experience we've had, probably since we started the podcast.
And we ate it in the car.
And we ate it in the car. I think the only other places that come close to this is obviously Santino's and Viet Thai.
Oh,
We go there every week. I mean,
because I like to hang my head over that bowl and the whole time and just makes me so happy.
It smells just as amazing as it tastes.
Oh God, I can't wait to have it in my mouth again.
So Arcade Monsters, definite garbage. Definite garbage. For
No doubt
those
about it.
new listening, it goes garbage, meh, okay, and garbage is the highest. And if there was something above garbage, they would definitely have it. That Cuban press on those sandwiches, that does a whole world of difference. It just keeps everything inside.
Delicious.
So good. So good. All right, let's get into some housekeeping. Do you want to do the housekeeping or should I do the housekeeping?
No, you do the housekeeping, but I'll critique your grammar like I always do.
All right, let's start off with you guys going to our Patreon right now and signing up because we're giving away Persona 5 Royal Edition and House in the Cerulean Sea this month. You'll find the link in the show notes. Also, I'm not entirely sure when we're going to announce the winners. It's probably going to be a month from now. We are doing a couple of things podcast related that are going to take some time and a little bit of funds. So that's where your Patreon stuff comes into play, which actually really helps a lot with the things that we have to do right now. I got to get some pop filters for the microphones because I just have socks on the microphones. After 5 months of doing the podcast, I finally managed to set up both microphones so that it doesn't sound weird and run in one track. Now I just need to get them pop filters so that the P's and blows don't sound as hard. I gotta edit
He
that
hates
out.
me.
Yeah, I do. I also hate when you just stand there next to it and just start breathing too while I'm talking.
Sorry, I never do it consciously.
No, I know. And I tell you to back off and you get angry at me. Also, remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at anovelconsole and on Facebook at facebook.com/anovelconsole. Don't forget, you can also tell your friends that they can find the podcast on most major podcast streaming platforms and that they can also listen on YouTube by searching for a Novel Console. Don't forget to tell them to subscribe, which we would like. And also tell them to like, comment, and subscribe.
I knew you were gonna lose it at some point.
And ring the bell notifications. Yeah, because I have it written weird, and I didn't want to read what I have written.
$1, $2, $3.
You should also leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts so that more people can find us. Again, you should also leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts so that more people can find us. You can also email us at anovelconsole@gmail.com and we'll read your email on the show, or we want whatever you want. If you want to talk about whatever, we'll be happy to talk about whatever. And our art was done by Metamorphic on Instagram. And Karen is waving her hand. What?
Since France won't email us, I'm now starting a new campaign. I want Egypt to email us.
Yes, we have a listener from Egypt.
A consistent listener.
And we want them to email us so that we can...
Please, we want to be friends.
Yes.
We want to know why you keep listening. What do you like?
Yeah, what you hate. Just tell us, oh, we hate both of you. Get rid of both of you and the podcast will be better. Like, we'll take it into consideration, but...
It can be a podcast, an hours long
of
scratch
Luna.
session and schlep session with Luna.
And smacking her ears. Oh, and we can also bring back our friend, the dish washer, pulling water from the line.
Mm-hmm.
And the assholes that drive by.
Yes.
So with that, we finished Arcade Month. We visited 2 arcades, not as many as I would have liked because... obviously COVID and restrictions and whatnot, but we got it done. And next week we're gonna have a super fun episode. I am so excited about this episode. Hopefully we can get it out because we have a lot of stuff for it, and oh my god, it's gonna be kind of a second job just to get that episode done, but it will be awesome. So please listen. And anything else you would like to say before we end the show?
Subscribe on Patreon so that this can be our full-time job.
That would be awesome.
I mean, yeah, it would.
Yeah. What we need $2 per person. So we need about 3,000 people and we'll be set. So
just to have an okay life.
Yes, that would be 6,000 a month.
Yeah, that's really not that much money.
No.
No.
I mean, like, part of it is...
we can live on it. Anyway, come on.
We'll get rid of one car. All right. So, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.